To those of you joining us for the first time this year, welcome. I'm Katie Cornell, Executive Director of Arts AVL. Thank you. I have a few housekeeping items before we begin. First of all, we have a lovely beverage station over here. If you want coffee or other beverages during the presentation, please feel free to get up and make your way over to the beverage station. Restrooms are located in the back. You can access the hallway to the restrooms on either side of this back wall. Please silence your cell phones, but we encourage you to take pictures and videos throughout the presentation. And we would love you to share them with us by tagging us at Arts Asheville. Yes, today's event is being recorded, and we will share it on our website once the video is ready. Also, the reports I'll be sharing today will also be shared on our website after the presentation. Lastly, included on all of your name tags are your Arts AVL connections. These include things like sponsors, grantees, members, board members, coalition members, and so on. My apologies if we missed any connections, but this was a really fun exercise for us to see how we're connected to all of you in this room today, and it left us feeling a lot of gratitude. So thank you for all that you do for us. If you don't have any Arts AVL connections yet, don't worry about it. We'd be more than happy to help you with that. Just see Rebecca Lynch. Rebecca, raise your hand at some point during today. I'm incredibly fortunate to work with an amazing staff that include Assistant Director Caroline Krupe. She's over there hiding. Rebecca Lynch, our Development Director, and our Communications Manager, Allie McGee. Our work is also supported by our wonderful Board of Directors. Board members, raise your hands. Thank you for all the work you do for the arts in Asheville and Buncombe County. And last but not least, I want to recognize our incredible Arts Coalition. These arts warriors help us champion the arts in the entire arts community. They help us set our policy agenda, inform our reporting, and plan events like the one you find yourselves at today. Please raise your hands, Arts Coalition members. Give them a round of applause. As you can see, Arts AVL is composed of a powerful team of arts leaders, and we're all thrilled to have you with us today. I want to express special thanks to the Orange Peel for providing the space for today's event, and to Cooperative Coffee Roasters for providing the coffee. This year's event series is made possible by our sponsors. I especially want to thank the North Carolina Arts Council, the City of Asheville, Buncombe County, Explore Asheville, the Andrew Harris Group at Morgan Stanley Private Wealth Management, Blue Spiral One, Public Interest Projects, and the Friends of Brian and Gail McCarthy for their support. I'd also like to thank our elected officials for joining us today. Join me in a round of applause for North Carolina Senator Julie Mayfield, Buncombe County Board of Commissioners Vice Chair Terry Wells, Buncombe County Commissioners Al Whitesides and Amanda Edwards, City of Asheville Mayor Esther Manheimer, and Asheville City Councilor Kim Roney. I'm standing before you today because I firmly believe that the arts build our community. Art is how we make sense of the world around us and express what it means to be human. The arts draw us to a place. They connect us to that place. They inspire us, teach us, heal us, build bridges for understanding, and on top of all of this, they're a major economic driver. When you invest in the arts, you are investing in our community. Last year, we announced our name change, and even though we are a 70-year-old organization, that's right, this year marks 70 years since we incorporated and became the second arts council to form in North Carolina, long before the National Endowment for the Arts or the North Carolina Arts Council. even with this long history, we understand that to really be the designated arts agency for Buncombe County, we at Arts AVL need to be on top of what is happening in the arts community and flexible enough to respond and adapt to these needs. And we're doing just that through connection, advocacy, and grants. We are connecting the community to creatives and creatives to each other. We're making it easy to explore Asheville's art scene while supporting arts businesses by literally delivering patrons to their front door. Our data shows a marked increase in both patronage and sales on Arts AVL Connect Trolley days. Don't miss the free Arts AVL Connect Trolley, offered every second Saturday starting at 12 p.m. in the River Arts District in downtown. Arts AVL is also your link to the local arts scene. If you haven't done so already, be sure to check out our directory, events, and opportunities pages. We are a champion for the arts in our community, and that is the main reason why we are here today. Our event series, including the State of the Arts Brunch, is designed to spotlight the positive impact of the arts in our community and the challenges and opportunities facing the arts sector. We know when making this case, current data matters. That's why I'll be sharing with you our current creative economy snapshot and the results of the newly released Arts and Economic Prosperity Report. And lastly, we represent the arts in our community at many different levels. We have our eyes and ears open, so we know what is happening within and around the arts sector, and that the best interests of these creative businesses are represented. We at Arts AVL believe it is important to put our money where our mouth is. In the last 5 years, Arts AVL has invested nearly $1 million into the local arts community through more than 325 grants, resulting in greater access to arts programming for schools, underserved communities, more creative jobs and associated spending, as well as overall community well-being. In FY23, Arts AVL re-granted $260,000 in 76 grants. It is important to us that we are being equitable in these investments, and we are holding ourselves accountable. I'm pleased to share that 61% of our grants last year went to underserved communities, and 34% were awarded to BIPOC-led organizations or artists. We support the arts in our community. We support arts in communities through our Artsville Community Grant, in schools through Arts for Schools. We help emerging and established artists take the next step in their career through our Artist Support Grant. We support nonprofit arts organizations through our Grassroots Arts Program, and outdoor events in the city of Asheville through the Event Support Grant. We're going to talk a little bit more about that last one a little later in the presentation. As I mentioned before, today we will primarily focus on our advocacy work. We'll start with our most recent report, the Buncombe County Creative Economy Snapshot, then take a more refined look at the local arts sector, and lastly, we're going to zoom in on our arts nonprofits with the Arts and Economic Prosperity Report. Before I launch into our first report, I'd like to thank the county for their support of our creative economy reporting initiatives. The funding provided by the county supports our amazing partnership with Riverbird Research at the Asheville Area Chamber of Commerce. I'm incredibly grateful for Heidi Reiber and the work that we do together. In May, we published our latest Creative Economy Snapshot. It showed that jobs and sales for creative industries in Buncombe County have finally surpassed 2019 totals after 4 years of stifled growth. Following pandemic-related shutdowns and supply chain issues, creative industries in Buncombe County took a sharp downturn, with an estimated 16% loss in jobs. Though few creative businesses closed permanently, temporary closures and drastic declines in revenue forced many creative businesses to furlough workers and lay off staff. The necessity for reduced overhead and ongoing uncertainty left remaining workers struggling with burnout. Though creative jobs overall have now surpassed 2019 totals, a recent survey by Arts AVL showed recruitment of new employees and volunteers continues to be a struggle for these businesses. Among core creative industries, motion picture and video production saw the most job growth from 2019 to 2023, with 10 new films in production in the Asheville area. When asked about this increase, the business manager for the North and South Carolina chapter of the Film Workers Union said, "Asheville has always been a crown jewel in North Carolina, and now Asheville has the spotlight." Creative industry sales increased dramatically from 2021 to 2022, reaching over $2 billion. Sales were largely led by breweries and historic sites. Sales have been slower to recover in arts and entertainment industries as concerns about large gatherings lingered, leading to reduced audiences and slower ticket sales. However, sales in these industries have also started to pick up in the last year. For example, Rabbit Rabbit welcomed over 90,000 music fans through their gates in 2022. This report from May specifically looked at creative industries. These industries were identified as having skill sets that require a large amount of creative thinking, as defined by West staff through their Creative Vitality Suite initiative. Creative Vitality Suite is considered the industry standard data solution for measuring for-profit and nonprofit arts, culture, and creative sectors. Through this initiative, they identified 98 creative industries in all. Creative industries are then further refined to those most applicable to a unique region, such as craft brewing in Buncombe County. Using this methodology, we identified 74 creative industries that we felt were relevant to Buncombe County. We also used the same methodology to identify 71 creative occupations. However, what we found was this expansive approach to the creative economy was not effectively serving our purposes. We tried to highlight the arts by separating out core arts industries versus other creative industries, but it became confusing. Ultimately, we've decided to take a different approach. There is no right way to define the creative economy. Instead of taking an expansive view, we are taking an arts-forward look at the creative economy through the lens of an arts agency. Therefore, moving forward, our scope has been limited to industries and occupations that feasibly fall within the sphere of influence of an arts agency. To define the creative economy, industries and occupations that fall under one of 6 arts mediums were selected: performing, visual, craft, literary, media, and interdisciplinary. These mediums were then further refined to subcategories which are listed on the screen. So, what did this new approach show us? Let's start by looking at jobs by occupation. We identified 66 arts-focused creative occupations. Looking at creative jobs by occupation, we saw that jobs continued to rebound from 2021 to 2022, getting close to 8,500. I do want to clarify that these are just creative jobs and do not include the many additional jobs supported by arts businesses like marketing, accounting, development, and so on. Top 5 jobs include photographers, writers and authors, musicians and singers, fine artists, and graphic designers. Now let's look at the demographics of these creative workers. As you can see, there's a pretty even split across the age spectrum, with 50% of workers being over 45 and 50% of workers being under 45. The majority of creative workers are between 35 to 44 years old. I do want to highlight the fact that 14% of our creative workers are over the age of 65. Creative workers are 79% white, 7% Black or African American, and 8% Hispanic or Latino. For reference, the overall Buncombe County population in 2022 was 83% white, 6% Black or African American, and 7.5% Hispanic or Latino. And lastly, creative workers are 54% female and 46% male. Now that we have a bit clearer picture of what our creative workforce looks like, let's look at industries. With our new methodology, we refined our creative economy to 56 industries. Top 5 industries by sales include historic sites, commercial printing, agents and managers for artists, athletes, entertainers, and public figures, independent artists, writers, and performers, and radio broadcasting stations. Total sales in 2022 were nearly $1 billion, and sales by sectors falls, not surprisingly, mostly in the arts and entertainment sector, but there were also some noteworthy sales drivers in the manufacturing and information sectors. For manufacturing, this was largely driven by commercial printing and pottery. For information, broadcasting and motion pictures were the main drivers. Okay, now we're going to zoom in on the impact of our arts nonprofits. Arts and Economic Prosperity 6, or AEP 6, is an economic and social impact study of the nation's nonprofit arts and culture industry. This report documents the economic and social contributions of arts and culture in all 50 states and Puerto Rico. To measure industry spending, local and statewide research partners representing 373 study regions collected expenditure and attendance data from over 16,000 arts and culture organizations and the event-related spending from nearly 225,000 of their attendees. Nationally, the sector generated close to $152 billion in economic activity in 2022. $73 billion in spending by nonprofit arts and culture organizations, and $78 billion in event-related expenditures by their audiences. It also supported 2.6 million jobs, provided $101 billion in personal income to residents, and generated $29 billion in tax revenue to local, state, and federal governments. ArtsCVL spent the last year collecting over 1,400 audience surveys for this report. Big thanks to our local arts partners that have helped us collect all these surveys. We also had 62 local arts nonprofits complete the organizational survey. I would like to thank the county and the city of Asheville for funding our participation in this initiative. Yeah. In 2022, nonprofit arts and culture organizations and their audiences generated over $51 million in economic activity in Buncombe County. $25 million in spending by the organizations, and leveraged an additional $26 million in event-related spending by their audiences. This economic activity supported over 1,200 jobs and generated nearly $13 million in tax revenue. When people attend a cultural event, they often, When people attend a cultural event, they often make an outing of it. They dine in a restaurant. They pay for parking or public transportation. They enjoy dessert after the show, and they return home to pay for childcare. Attendees at Buncombe County's nonprofit arts and cultural events spend an average of $34 per event per person beyond the cost of admission. Income for local merchants and a value add for that few industries can compete with. Arts and culture organizations also strengthen our visitor economy. 23% of Buncombe County's arts attendees travel from outside of Buncombe County. These cultural tourists spend an average of $61 per person per event in additional event-related spending. When asked, 76% of those non-local attendees reported that the primary purpose for their visit was specifically to attend the performance, event, exhibition, venue, or facility where they were surveyed. A vibrant arts and culture community keeps residents local and their discretionary dollars in the community. When attendees were asked what they would have done if the event where they were surveyed was offered in another community, 46% of attendees said they would have traveled to a different community to attend the similar arts and cultural event. This is great news, but AEP 6 was conducted in fiscal year 2022, as the nation continued its emergence from the COVID-19 pandemic. By every measure, the arts and culture industry was among the most devastated economic sectors. Looking back at a previous report, AEP 5, the number of non-resident attendees dropped significantly, which in turn caused our per person, per event spending to also go down from an average of $52 per person per event in 2015 to $34 in 2022. Non-resident spend was also $85 per person per event in 2015 and $61 in 2022. Though tourism was up during this time, we know visitors plan their trips in advance and their behavior is slower to shift than residents. During the study period, there was likely still anxiety about attending events, particularly indoors. I'm pleased to share that Explore Asheville has really stepped up and is working with our nonprofit venue operators to help address this issue, because non-resident arts attendees mean a lot of related spending for our community. In September 2022, Explore Asheville brought together a group of nonprofit arts leaders with indoor venues for the first of several roundtable discussions in hopes of more fully understanding the challenges that these organizations were facing and how they could help. These discussions morphed into a survey, because all roads lead to a survey. The survey included both nonprofit and for-profit arts venues. There were 49 total respondents to the survey. The majority were nonprofit 501c3 organizations, 14 were for-profit businesses, and the remainder were government-related or other types of nonprofits. Survey respondents said that on average, nearly half of their guests come from outside of Buncombe County, with Charlotte, Atlanta, Raleigh-Durham, Greensboro, Winston-Salem, and Washington, D.C. being the leading origin markets. So, using this survey data, the Explore Asheville team launched a summer arts initiative this year with targeted social media carousels, and they also added new landing pages, including summer cultural performing arts and things to do in the arts pages. And most recently, there was a performing arts focus in the fall media outreach. Explore Asheville staff will go into a deeper dive on this survey and their current initiatives during our Arts AVL Town Hall event in February. There will also be an opportunity for you to share your input on arts marketing at this event as well during the breakout sessions. Now we're going to look at some more current issues and opportunities facing the arts. The new North Carolina budget includes $2.5 million in recurring grassroots arts program funding, bringing the total up to $6.3 million in grassroots funding, which is amazing. 63 would be even more amazing, but I'll take 6.3. Since 1977, the North Carolina Arts Council's Grassroots Arts Program has provided North Carolina citizens access to quality arts experiences by providing funding for the arts in all 100 counties of the state through partnerships with local arts agencies. Arts AVL became a funding partner in 1979, and we currently support over 40 nonprofit arts organizations through our Grassroots Grant Program. Unfortunately, there's an unfortunately, the budget also includes a provision prohibiting Tier 3 counties with a population over 250,000 from receiving this new arts funding, excluding 5 out of 100 counties. These are Wake, Durham, Mecklenburg, Union, and Buncombe County. This means Buncombe County will lose approximately $65,000 a year in arts funding, negatively impacting organizations throughout our area. What is a Tier 3 county and what does it have to do with the arts, you might ask? The answer is nothing. The Economic Incentive Tier Program was created in 1987. It's meant to be a tax break for distressed counties, with 1 being the most distressed and 3 being the least distressed. The argument for this provision is that the arts in these 5 counties don't need more art support because they're doing so well. But as I just showed you with our Creative Economy snapshots and our AEP6 data, this is far from the truth. Nonprofit arts organizations were some of the hardest hit by the pandemic, and they're still recovering. Many of these organizations were forced to close their doors for over a year, and audience behavior has changed. Additionally, this budget provision is a double whammy for nonprofit arts organizations in Buncombe County. The new funding is intended to soften the blow of expiring American Rescue Plan dollars next year, which is a loss of $130,000 in our grassroots funding. The reduction means a reduction in the number of our grants and the size of awards we'll be able to offer in our 2024-2025 funding cycle, which in turn means less arts programs for our community. It is our hope that this provision will be removed or adjusted. At this point, there's no chance it will happen this year, but we have high hopes for next year. And we have wonderful allies in Raleigh fighting in our corner. I would like to take a moment to recognize Senator Mayfield and our North Carolina representatives, Eric Ager, Lindsay Prather, and Caleb Rudow, who are all great arts supporters, and we appreciate their ongoing support. We also owe a lot of thanks to our statewide arts advocacy organization, Arts North Carolina. Arts North Carolina works tirelessly on behalf of the arts in our state. I'm proud to serve on the board along with Wortham Center Managing Director Ray Jeffrey. I'm also happy to share that next year I will be board chair of Arts North Carolina for the next 2 years. At the brunch last year, I expressed my concerns about the city's strategic event partnership program. Since 2010, the City of Asheville's Strategic Event Partnership Program has allowed for fee waivers and in some cases in-kind support for special events produced by select 501c nonprofit organizations. However, government support for independent events held in public space must not be based on content, and concerns about preferential treatment caused the city to rethink the program in 2019. These efforts were tabled by the COVID-19 pandemic, like everything was, in 2020, and baseline services were extended for current partners. In 2022, the future of the program was again in question, and the city even briefly considered ending the program altogether. Since that time, I am pleased to share that Arts AVL was able to work with city staff to find an alternative solution. As a result, Asheville City Council voted to discontinue the Strategic Event Partnership Program and replace it with a new event support grant administered by Arts AVL. The Event Support Grant Program, yes. The Event Support Grant Program launched in September, and we are expected to announce the first round of awards next month. This is a great win for the arts, for the city, and our community. I'd like to express my gratitude to City of Asheville Community and Regional Entertainment Facilities Director Chris Corral, and especially Community Events Manager John Philman for all their support. In August, Arts AVL hosted a town hall discussion on Thomas Wolfe Auditorium with over 400 registered attendees. At this point, you would have had to have been living under a rock not to know that Thomas Wolfe Auditorium closed its doors on July 5th due to a massive failure of the HVAC system. In the short term, the failure immediately resulted in scheduled shows being shifted to the ExploreAsheville.com arena or other locations. In the longer term, the closure of Thomas Wolfe, even with it reopening at limited capacity, is estimated to result in a loss of over $20 million for our economy this year. I'm pleased to share that at a work session on September 26, Asheville City Council directed staff to explore two potential paths forward, both major redesigns of the historic space. Staff is expected to come back to council with more fleshed out recommendations for renovation in early 2024. I know Mayor Mannheimer is going to speak more about this in her remarks, so that's all I'm going to say for now. But know that Arts AVL is supportive of this renovation, and we will lend our support where we're able. The arts sector is not immune to the affordable housing crisis that we find ourselves in, but it expands just beyond just affordable housing to affordable workspace. As the cost of living rises, including the cost of housing and workspace, creatives are getting priced out of Buncombe County. For some, this is relocating to a surrounding county to live and work and continuing to sell goods and services here in Buncombe County. For others, this means leaving the area entirely. We know our young, up-and-coming creatives and those that face more barriers, such as our BIPOC artists, are choosing to move out of the area entirely, some to other states, which is concerning. It is our hope that through the Creative Spaces study we're conducting this year, we'll be able to take a closer look at the cost of living for creatives in our 4-county Asheville metro area, share feedback from our creative community on how they're being impacted, highlight some of the initiatives that are currently underway to address these issues. It is our intention for this report to come out in May with an accompanying Arts AVL Town Hall event. And hopefully we'll have some positive solutions to share with you. Finally, and certainly not least, last year I shared with you that we had been working with Land of Sky Regional Council and multiple other partners on a couple of reports looking at how to scale creative manufacturing in Western North Carolina. The initial study was funded by the Appalachian Regional Council and Dogwood Health Trust. The two resulting reports are available on our website at artsavl.org/reports. I'm pleased to share that Land of Sky has just been awarded a $1 million matching grant from the Appalachian Regional Council for the implementation of the first phase of this project. The Land of Sky Regional Council will work collaboratively across 26 counties to implement strategies that bring together local leaders to invest in and grow capacity, strength, and sustainability of creative manufacturing, of the creative manufacturing economy of Western North Carolina. Project partners include the Southwestern Commission, High Country Council of Government, say that 3 times fast, AB Tech, Arts AVL in partnership with WNC Arts, Mountain BizWorks, Jamie and Lindsay, raise your hands. Blue Ridge National Heritage Area, Brandon and Robin, raise your hands. And the Center for Craft, Marilyn, Jenna, Anna, Olivia, Erica, raise your hands. By the end of the performance period, this project is expected to serve 705 businesses, create more than 110 jobs, retain 158 additional jobs, leverage close to $4.5 million in private investment. Major props are due to Sarah Nichols at Land of Sky Regional Council for making this happen. Raise your hand, Sarah. We also have Heather Parlier and Penny Eward from Dogwood Health Trust here. Thank you for your support of this project. Boy, that was a lot of information. Are you guys still with me? Yes? I hope what you take away from this is that the arts are vital for the well-being of our community, and they give back a lot more than they take. The arts sector was impacted a lot more than most by the pandemic, but we're resilient, and these industries are working their way towards recovery, even though progress has been slow and the battle is not yet over. We have to take time to celebrate our wins and keep these accomplishments in mind as we face new and complex challenges. We are stronger together, and I'm excited to see what we'll be able to tackle next. So now, for some more good news, we're going to hear first from the county and then from the city about the many ways they are supporting the arts in our community. I'd like to welcome Buncombe County Board of Commissioners Vice Chair up to the stage. Terry Wells was elected to the Buncombe County Board of Commissioners in 2020 and became Vice Chair in 2023. Terry will be running for re-election in 2024. She is the 9th generation of her family to live and farm in the beautiful farming community of Sandy Mush. Terry is passionate about farming and education. She holds a Master's of Arts in Education from the University of Colorado at Boulder.
Good morning. I am Terry Wells, and I'm an art lover. The arts have been an integral part of my life since my early days growing up in the rural farming community of Sandy Mush. Artists were drawn to Sandy Mush, and I was drawn to the artist. In the late 70s, Christopher Ramey, a young potter, was living on our farm, and whenever I could get a break from whatever farm chores I was helping with, I would go over to the old tobacco casing house that he had turned into his potter's studio. And I would sit and watch, and I would ask a lot of questions. He was patient with my curiosity, and I developed a lasting appreciation for the craft and artistry of pottery. Christopher's work is in the North Carolina Museum of History in Raleigh. Then in the early 80s, Norma Bradley came to Sandy Mush for an adventure from New York. And in her own words, she decided to stay because an adventure it was in Sandy Mush. And she worked side by side with neighbors in the fields, barns, and at community gatherings. Quilts and the stories that they told were part of everyday life in our community. And before the seeds of Norma's first earth quilt garden were planted on the campus of UNC Asheville in 1986, and she went on to create many more across the United States, I remember when she wanted me to ask my dad if we could create an art quilt installation on our hay bales. Much to my dad's credit, he gave permission, though with a rather dubious look. I continue to appreciate and seek out the arts, to expand my thoughts and to fill up my spirit. As Vice Chair of your Buncombe County Commission, it is my pleasure to celebrate the arts with you today. The arts have been a vital part of our community from the early days of Buncombe County due to both necessity and inspiration. Our soils were well suited to pottery production, our native plants were processed to produce fabric dyes, and our mountains have inspired many painters, musicians, writers, and photographers to create. Our natural environment and our arts are interconnected. This vibrant tradition continues. Today, we are home to more than 270,000 people and growing. Our arts sector provides both economic and cultural benefits to our county. Artists are small business owners. You provide direct economic impact and investment in our community. You also contribute to our rich and diverse culture, which engages and inspires our residents as well as our visitors. We have a long history of being makers, and that is worth promoting and investing in for the future. Buncombe County currently provides $130,000 in annual funding to the Arts and Culture Block Grant Funds managed by Arts AVL. These funds are subgranted through two grant funds, Arts Build Community and the Grassroots Arts Program. I appreciated hearing from many of you about the impacts of this funding and how it has provided a platform for creativity, critical thinking, and the nurturing of our next generation of innovative thinkers and leaders. And I especially love the handmade notes from our youth. In all reality, those were my favorites. In addition to this funding, Buncombe County also incorporates arts into our programming in order to engage our community, and our librarians do an outstanding job at this. I'm going to just share a few, but I really encourage you to get out to your local libraries and see what they're doing to engage our community in the arts. At our Inca and Candler Library, we had music and dance this year. My home library in Leicester, we've had watercolor classes, and this November we are hosting our second Tiny Art Show. At the East Asheville Library in 2022, they launched their Flow State Artist Residency Program, and so it's now in its second year. Throughout the year, the library hosts 6 local artists, each for 1 month. The aim is to give local artists a space to focus on their creative work, while also providing opportunities for our community to engage with the artist and arts education. And I really hate that I missed this latest. It's called the Art Splatter Room. That sounded like a lot of fun. I hope they'll do that one again. I think they use paint balloons and huge markers to make art. So that's my pitch for East Asheville doing that one again. I want to participate. Then I hope you already know about our Carolina Record Shop, which is in our Buncombe County Special Collections. And I saw the manager of our Special Collections, Catherine Cutshaw, is here with us today. So if you don't already know about that, please make sure you see Catherine and get to know about it. It was founded in 2020, and I actually had the pleasure of attending the first residency with artist Honey Simone. And the Carolina Record Shop Creative Residency Program provides an annual opportunity for artists to create new, research-driven creative work using our Buncombe County Special Collections, historic resources, and then to present their work in the Carolina Record Shop, which is a dedicated exhibition space in our Buncombe County Special Collections reading room. The selection process is taking place now for the third residency, and I'm hoping that we'll know who will be in that residency probably by December. So stay tuned for that. And I hope you all have enjoyed the beautiful murals that have been created around town. Yes. I'm glad to see that you already know about those. That's wonderful. I enjoyed going and watching the creative process. So we have 2 of them already. So our Buncombe County Creative Equity Mural Project selected 3 artists to bring themes of racial equity, reconciliation, and restoration to 3 of our Buncombe County walls. The Rebuild mural by public artist Gabriel Ingetz from Durham is located on the building that houses our Register of Deeds office, and it honors the legacy of our historically black neighborhoods in Asheville. Local artist Leslie Renata Yanko created a mural titled You Are Latin Pride, which is located on Hilliard Street, right behind our Buncombe County Tax Office. And her piece celebrates the resilience, diversity, and unity of our Latino community. And we're definitely looking forward to the third one, which will be on our College Street parking deck. And Jared Wheatley's mural will be honoring the ancestral stewards of this land. In closing, I believe in the power of the arts to inspire, to challenge, and to heal. As we look to our future, we need you now more than ever. We have always been a community of creative makers, collaborators, seekers, one where we are leading the way because we have never desired to be followers. We have a strong spirit, and we are a welcoming people. We need you, your creativity, your collaborative spirit. We need you to be the spark, and we will be stronger. We will be a stronger, thriving community together. Be that spark.
Thanks, Terry. And big thanks to the county for all their support of arts and culture in Buncombe County. So now we're going to hear from the city about how they're supporting the arts in Asheville. Our mayor, Esther Mannheimer, is going to come up and give. Okay. Esther was first elected to Asheville City Council in 2009 and elected vice mayor by her peers in 2011. She was elected mayor in 2013 and re-elected in 2017 and 2022. Her current term runs through December 2026. As mayor, Esther has focused her attention on achieving greater equity for all residents of Asheville, specifically in the area of public housing.
Good mid-morning to you all. It's my pleasure to be here today. First, let me just recognize all of our dedicated staff who are with the City of Asheville. If you all could please stand up so everyone can see you. You guys are like, please, do we have to stand up? All right. Katie, this is not, there's nothing big on this screen. Am I supposed to be able to?
It's in presenter's view. Do you need me to make it bigger?
No, I can't see any notes, but. Okay. I brought them up with me. All right. So you all are the beneficiaries of the fierce competition that exists between the City of Asheville and Buncombe County. And as we try to outdo each other, I feel like that's a positive thing. I feel like there's a lot of good energy. No, you're saying there's no Avril's like, we beat you hands down. What are you talking about? So I learned a little bit about Terry. We have something in common. We both went to Boulder, and we both grew up in a home where the arts were very much valued and focused on. I am merely a boring attorney, but I was raised in a home where my sister got an MFA in photography. My mother is a fiber artist and a member of the Guild, and I grew up picking lichen off of trees so she could make dyes, and had jars in the fridge that said, "Do not drink this." And my family survived for a period of time on an NEA grant when my father was able to help 40 older adults write their life story. So for me, this is an integral part of my life and my upbringing and my value system. And it's very much about, I understand the economic benefits, and every sector now has to demonstrate how much value they bring, how much ROI they have. But for me, that, of course, is very important to our economy in Asheville, but it is also very important, the arts, to our quality of life, to the way we experience our life while we're here on this earth for this very short period of time. It's probably not me sitting in front of my computer doing my work that brings me the greatest amount of joy. It's probably being at Whitehorse on Saturday night listening to a 40-piece wind ensemble. That was the highlight of my week. So you all, yes, that was super fun, by the way. Okay, so let's talk about the City of Asheville and art. And I really want to tell you, I can't stress enough how lucky we are to have so many incredible staff that really do see the value of how important it is to thread the arts throughout our community to enrich our fabric. And you can see that in a lot of the public art programs that the city is hosting right now. We have a Public Art and Cultural Commission. I keep wanting to call it culture. It's Culture Commission. And we have the Urban Trail, part of our public art collection. We have a public art master plan. We invest a certain percentage of money into construction projects that are dedicated for art. And we have the public art program, which is currently administered through the Planning and Urban Design Department, which, as you may know, Steph Munzendahl is our new director of planning. Yeah. Yay. And we have lots of projects going on throughout the city in the arts. In our Parks and Arts Recreation Department, here is just a list of some of the programs that are happening right now that are centered around the arts. And maybe some of you have had a chance to participate in them. We also have arts and community engagement. Apparently, these are the 5 most highly attended arts-focused events for this year: Shindig on the Green, Village Art and Craft Fair, Symphony in the Park, Asheville Mardi Gras Parade, and Grind Fest. Raise your hand if you went to one of these things. All right, there you go. We have a lot of current projects that are happening right now. The Pack Square Plaza Vision Plan and Art in the Heart. We have projects that are completed or underway, include the Jake Rusher Park Artful Play, and we have the new public safety station on Broadway. If you haven't had a chance to see that, it is going to include a playable harp. We also have the Asheville Skate Park, which has just been redone, and it includes some very cool murals. So, and a heads up, we are doing some work within the Public Art and Culture Commission, membership restructuring and providing ordinance updates. That'll be restructured to increase opportunities and capacity for partnerships, and it includes a proposal for a standing seat for the Arts Council. Right now is the final installation of Art in the Heart, and this last piece that's up right now is by Laura Nguyen, and this is a letters to her children. She just passed away in May from cancer, and so this art installation is of and to her children. If you get a chance to go by and see it, it's pretty amazing. Thomas Wolfe Auditorium. You know, let me just say, first of all, this is going to be a big undertaking. I personally am incredibly inspired to make this a reality. I know it's been a challenge for Asheville for many, many years. I think Chris presented to us the number of studies that have been done to look at Thomas Wolfe Auditorium, which is sort of around 8 or something like that, give or take. And we're fortunate, though, to have all of you, which are such strong supporters of the arts, to help us make this project a reality. As Katie mentioned, the council has narrowed down the options. There were 5 for Thomas Wolfe to 2. One is called the patron-driven, I'm going to call it design, and one is the improved rake floor arrangement. So the patron-driven is more costly than the improved rake floor arrangement, but it would bring significant renovation to the front and back of house spaces, creating an acoustically sound concert hall which can accommodate a wide array of programming. It would reshape the interior of the facility, resulting in a new venue within the existing structure. So Council's going to be looking at what the possibilities are in making this a reality. It's not going to be possible without very strong partnerships. If you are a student of all things city like I am, you will see that for cities, especially in North Carolina, the way cities are structured, their performing arts center is probably their single biggest investment. So if you look at a city like Greensboro that just brought online the Tanger venue in the last several years, or down in Greenville with the Peace Center, or in Durham with DPAC, those are the single largest investments those cities are making, and with good reason, because again, what is a city? I mean, a city is people and experiences. And so how do you make a city one of the best places to be in the world? You make sure that people are having an enriched life and having an opportunity to have the greatest quality experiences. Yes. So stay tuned, stay involved in that conversation. It will be, I think, again, we are very fortunate to have incredibly talented staff to help shepherd the council through this process.
There's a friendly rivalry between the city and the county. Well, Explore Asheville, I think we just beat you. It's no fire alarm, but it's pretty good. All right. Well, the mayor tells me she was pretty much finished with her remarks. But I would like us all to thank the city for all the ways that they're supporting the arts in our community. All right. This time, I would like to invite Blue Spiral co-owner and gallery director Michael Maines up to the stage for the presentation of the John Cram Arts Leadership Award. Michael currently serves on our Arts Coalition and is himself an amazing arts leader in our community.
Thank you, Katie. How was that? Everybody's okay? This award honors local entrepreneur and philanthropist John Cram. John, who passed away in 2020, founded Blue Spiral One, New Morning Gallery, the Fine Arts Theater, and Bellagio Art to Wear. He was also a constant supporter of the Asheville and the arts, opening his gallery at a time when much of downtown was shuttered. In alignment with John's passion and legacy, award recipients have contributed significantly to the arts in Buncombe County. Following John's passing in 2020, myself and Arts AVL Executive Director Katie Cornell conceived this annual award to honor him and his contributions. John possessed a unique ability to identify a need, take chances, and make dreams a reality. He was a leader in our community and valued the relationships he cultivated with various organizations, in addition to civic, environmental, and arts sector leaders. Previous recipients of this award include longtime local arts advocates Dwayne Barton and John Ellis. Dwayne has been involved in community improvement and youth development for over 20 years, especially in the Burton Street community. He's the founder and CEO of Hood Huggers International and Hood Hug Tours, and currently serves on the board of the North Carolina Arts Council. John served as managing director of the Diana Wortham Theater for 20 years before retiring in 2017. John is involved in a number of local arts initiatives, including serving as vice chair of the Civic Center Commission. This is a lot to say right here. Okay. I could not think of a more fitting way to honor and acknowledge the creative leaders in our community than with an award that celebrates the attributes, values, and dedication that John Cram possessed. This award means that the vision, potential, and hope that John saw in Asheville 50-plus years ago continues with next-generation leaders. This year's recipients are also community leaders who embody many of the same characteristics as John. Brian and Gail McCarthy came to Asheville not long after John with the same sentiments for the area and a unique vision. They saw an opportunity for the creative process to be harnessed, grown, and shared with not only Asheville, but beyond. These two dedicated individuals, like John, saw a need, took a chance, and worked tirelessly to continue to nurture and grow that dream into one of the most successful clay businesses and ceramic educational centers in North America, Highwater Clays and Odyssey Center for the Ceramic Arts. The McCarthys, who moved to Asheville in 1979, began their business blending clays in an artist cooperative studio in the Swannanoa River. Today, Highwater Clays is housed in a 40,000 square foot space at 600 Riverside Drive in the River Arts District. It is recognized nationally for its high-quality wet clays, processed on-site, as well as glazes and underglazes, tools, and equipment. Odyssey Center for the Ceramic Arts, Odyssey Clayworks, an educational program of Highwater Clays, currently operates a ceramic school and an art gallery on Klingman Avenue. Currently under the direction of Gabriel Klein, Odyssey Clayworks introduces students to the diversity of ceramic traditions and strives to make ceramic arts accessible for all. The center offers professional development for K-12 teachers, a free therapeutic program for veterans, a residency for early career ceramic artists, mentorship for high school students, and children's programming. Both spaces have been incubators for artists, both those early in their profession and those new to Asheville. The McCarthys also started a resident artist program that drew people from all over the country. Those people came here because of Odyssey, because there was a place for them. They also started the River Arts District Stroll. In 1995, the city of Asheville formally recognized this area as the River Arts District. In 2013, River District Artists became a nonprofit member organization, River Arts District Artists, Inc., also known as RADA. RADA's current 300 members as Julie Ann Bell, president of River Arts District Artists, Inc., says, stand on the shoulders of leaders like Gail and Brian McCarthy. The McCarthys moved into this area with a vision for supporting artists and the arts. They nurtured this vision, organized and supported the initial studio strolls, and built a strong framework, still in action today, for artist-run leadership in the River Arts District. It is for these attributes and dedication that Brian and Gail are most deserving of this award. Please come to the stage.
Oh. Wow. Well, thank you. Thank you all for being here. Receiving this award is a humbling experience for both Brian and I, especially so because there are so many of you in this room who are also responsible for the thriving arts community in Asheville. Sometimes collaborations grow organically as people follow their own paths and reach out to help others along the way. All of us here are part of this. A seminal moment in our lives was when we arrived here in 1979. Then, in 1985, we moved Highwater Clays to Riverside Drive, and in 1994 started Odyssey Center for the Ceramic Arts. The first River Arts Studio Stroll was organized by a collaboration that included Asheville Working Press, Riverlink, thank you, Karen Craig-Nolan, and Highwater Clays. It was never intended to be our studio stroll. Brian and I don't like to take ownership over things and tell people how they're supposed to do things. We like nurturing something and then letting it go, tossing it up and saying, okay, it's your turn now. Opportunities in Asheville have provided many artists with a home to make their dreams a reality. So, continue to take flight and soar. Thank you all for who you are and what you do. And Brian's next.
I'd just like to correct one thing Gail said. We do like to tell people what to do, but only for a little while, and then we just give it away because there's a certain amount of instruction that's needed at first. The beauty of the mountains, and as well as the rich history of the art and craft in the area, drew a lot of us here. And I remember on a trip we were taking to move somewhere, and we read in a book that the Great Smoky Mountains was within a day's drive of 3/4 of the population of the U.S. So we said, well, if we're going to try to make some pots, that's not a bad place to be. So I also remember in the very early 80s going to New Morning Gallery and asking to be part of the craft fair in the village. And I showed him my photos and my pots. He liked my photos. The people of Asheville, and specifically the artists in the River Arts District, have many people and institutions to thank for the inspirational work that they've done through the years, just to name a few. The Allen Stand Craft Shop opened in 1895, Penland School, 1929, Southern Highland Craft Guild, 1930, Black Mountain College, 1933, Asheville Art Museum, 1948, Asheville Arts Council, 1952, New Morning Gallery, 1972, Blue Spiral 1, 1990. Thank you, John. And that doesn't include all of the performing arts, which are obviously not on that list. But we have a lot of those institutions to thank as well. Gail and I were fortunate enough to move here in the late 70s. And as our businesses grew, we eventually discovered the industrial buildings along the French Broad. We made a concerted effort to support the local artists who began to discover the studio possibilities in those old industrial buildings. We're deeply honored to have been chosen by Arts Asheville. We have you to thank for striving to keep arts at the heart of our community. I'd also like to thank family that's made this possible. And a very special thank you to Gail, because without her imagination, focus, and tens of thousands of hours of detailed focus on our businesses, we wouldn't be here today. Thank you, Gail. Who would have thought selling 25-pound bags of mud would lead us to this point? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. So I also want to recognize this year's grant recipient as part of the John Cram Arts Leadership Award goes to Arts for Life. I think we have Madeline here from Arts for Life. Raise your hand. Okay. I hope you all found today informative and inspiring. I'm inspired every day by our amazing arts community. So bear with me for one more recognition. Arts leaders in the room, please stand. Do it now. Come on. Thank you for all the work you do for our community. I know there's more of you. I hope you all will continue to follow the work that we're doing here at Arts AVL and join us where you can. If you'd like to contribute to this work, you can find a QR code on your menu/program that links to our donation page, or you can simply go to artsavl.org/donate. Our next event, in partnership with Explore Asheville, will focus on arts marketing and take place in February at the Center for Craft. We hope to see you there. Thank you again for joining us for the 2023 State of the Arts Brunch.